Commander Anna Hayes stared at the strange object on her screen. The probe, if that's what it was, hung motionless near Jupiter's orbit. Its silver surface reflected the distant sunlight, making it look like a star that had fallen out of place. She had been watching it for the past hour from the bridge of the Earth Defense Force ship Orion. "Chief Martinez, what do you make of these readings?" she asked, turning to her chief engineer. Peter Martinez was hunched over his console, his forehead wrinkled in concentration. "Never seen anything like it, Commander," he said, looking up. "The energy signature is off the charts. This isn't human tech, not by a long shot." Millions of miles away, in a vast chamber filled with holographic displays, 12 alien beings watched the human ship approach their probe. The Zentari Council members shifted uneasily in their floating seats. Their tall, slender forms cast long shadows in the dim light. "They found it faster than we expected," said first speaker Zinra, her silvery skin shimmering as she moved. "The probe was supposed to remain hidden for at least another cycle." "These humans are showing unusual capabilities," replied second speaker Vental, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. "Their scanning technology shouldn't have detected our probe at all." Back on the Orion, Commander Hayes made her decision. "Peter, prepare a retrieval team. We're bringing that thing aboard." "Commander," Martins warned, "we don't know what it's capable of. It could be dangerous." Hayes smiled. "Everything unknown is dangerous until we understand it. That's why we're here, isn't it?" The retrieval operation went smoothly, too smoothly, according to the watching council members. The humans handled the advanced technology with unexpected skill, using magnetic fields and radiation shields that the council hadn't realized Earth possessed. Within hours, the probe was secured in the Orion's main research bay. Martins and his engineering team worked around the clock, their excitement growing with each discovery. They found ways to interface with the alien systems that even the probe's creators hadn't considered. "Look at this, Commander," Martins said 3 days later, pointing to a holographic display he had somehow extracted from the probe. "Their energy storage system is amazing, but they're only using about 60% of its potential. If we modify the containment field like this..." He typed a few commands, and the hologram changed shape. Hayes watched in amazement as her chief engineer explained how they could improve the alien technology. She didn't understand all the technical details, but she got the main point. Humans had found ways to make advanced alien tech work better. In the council chamber, alarms spread through the gathered aliens. "Impossible!" Third speaker Cretin shouted, his voice echoing off the curved walls. "They've broken through security measures that took our best minds decades to design." "How are they doing this?" Zinro wondered aloud. "Their civilization is barely space capable. They shouldn't be able to understand our technology, let alone modify it." "We must make contact," Vental decided, "before they learn too much." The Council's first message arrived at Earth 3 weeks after the probe's discovery. By then, Martinez and his team had already reverse-engineered several key systems and started incorporating the new technology into human designs. The message was simple. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Council. The device you found was ours. We request a meeting." Earth's leaders debated for days before agreeing to the meeting. They chose a location on neutral ground, a space station in Earth orbit. Commander Hayes and her crew would represent humanity's military interests, while Martins would lead the technical discussions. When the Council's ship arrived, it was impressive. A massive vessel that dwarfed anything humans had built. But Hayes noticed something interesting. Its design wasn't that different from the improvements Martinez had already sketched out based on the probe's technology. The alien delegation emerged from their ship with great ceremony. Zinra led them, her silvery form towering over the humans. She spoke through a translation device, her words formal and carefully chosen. "We have been watching your species," she said. "You show great promise, but also great recklessness. The technology you found was meant to test your readiness for contact. We expected you to take years to understand it, if you ever did. Martinez couldn't help himself. He stepped forward, tablet in hand. Actually, we've made some improvements to your designs. Would you like to see them? The council members looked at each other in shock. Improvements? To their technology, it wasn't possible. But as Martinez displayed his modifications, the enhanced energy storage, the more efficient power distribution, the streamlined control systems, their shock turned to something else. Fear. You don't understand what you're doing, Ventil said, his 4 eyes rapidly blinking. These systems are the result of thousands of years of careful development. You can't just change them. Why not? Hayes asked. If we can make them better, shouldn't we? The meeting ended shortly after that. The council members retreated to their ship, but not before issuing a warning. Be careful with powers you don't understand. Not all species in the galaxy will appreciate your creativity. As the alien ship departed, Hayes stood with Martinez in the station's observation deck, watching it disappear into the darkness of space. They're scared of us, Martinez said quietly. Hayes nodded. Because we did in 3 weeks what took them thousands of years. Because we looked at their technology and didn't just understand it. We improved it. What do you think they'll do? They'll try to stop us, Hayes said, her expression determined. But they don't understand humans very well if they think that's possible. We've never been good at stopping. Martinez smiled and held up his tablet, which showed dozens of new design improvements. Should we slow down? No, Hayes replied, watching the stars. We speed up. Something tells me we're going to need every advantage we can get. In the council chamber, the debate raged on. We must contain them, some argued. Their development is too rapid, too uncontrolled. But Zinra, watching recordings of the humans at work, saw something different. She saw the joy in their eyes as they solved problems, their excitement at each new discovery. She saw something the council had lost long ago, the pure pleasure of innovation. We created the council to guide species toward enlightenment, she said finally. Perhaps these humans have something to teach us as well. But not all council members shared her view. In the shadows of the chamber, others were already planning ways to slow humanity's progress. They didn't understand that they were about to learn another human trait. The harder you try to hold humans back, the harder they push forward. The war hadn't started yet, but the first shots had been fired. Not with weapons, but with ideas. And in that kind of war, humans had never lost. Dr. Linda Morrison walked through her lab at the Global Engineering Center, coffee cup in hand. The place was buzzing with activity, even at 3 a.m. Ever since the alien probe, sleep had become optional for most of Earth's engineers. Dr. Morrison. John Russell called out from his workstation. The young engineer's eyes were bright despite the late hour. You need to see this. We've figured out how to improve their shield technology. Linda hurried over, careful not to spill her coffee. On John's screen, complex equations danced alongside 3D models of the alien shield systems. But what caught her attention was the addition of a familiar formula. Is that nuclear fusion? She asked, leaning closer. John grinned. Yes, their shields are amazing, but they never thought to use fusion reactions to power them. They rely on something called quantum crystallization, which is stable but limited. If we combine both, the shield strength could increase tenfold. Linda finished, already seeing the possibilities. John, this is brilliant. Neither of them noticed the tall, silver-skinned figure watching from the observation deck above. Kextal, the Zentari scientist sent by the Council to monitor human progress, felt his 4 hearts beat faster with worry. These humans weren't just copying alien technology. They were transforming it into something new. In the next lab over, Michelle Thompson was having a breakthrough of her own. Her team had been working on integrating Earth's artificial intelligence systems with the alien tech. The Council species had never developed AI, considering it too unpredictable. Run the test again, Michelle told her computer. On the screen, an AI program effortlessly navigated the alien systems, optimizing their performance in ways that would take organic operators hours to achieve. Kextel moved to watch this lab too, his antenna twitching with nervous energy. The council had sent him expecting to find primitive beings stumbling with advanced technology. Instead, he was watching them revolutionize it. He activated his communication device. Council chamber, this is Observer Kextel. The humans, they're proceeding much faster than anticipated. They're not just learning our technology, they're improving it. In the council chamber, the news caused an uproar. How can they improve what took us millennia to perfect? Demanded one member. They think differently, Kextel replied. They combine technologies we've always kept separate. They ask questions we never thought to ask. And they're not afraid to fail. Back in the lab, Linda was organizing a presentation. The council had demanded regular updates on human progress, probably hoping to find signs that Earth was struggling with the advanced technology. Instead, they were about to get another shock. Ready for tomorrow? John asked, joining her with a fresh pot of coffee. Linda nodded, reviewing her slides. They'll either be amazed or terrified. Probably both. The next morning, the presentation room was packed. Council observers sat in specially designed chairs, their tall frames towering over the humans. Linda stood at the podium, feeling small but unafraid. 3 months ago, she began, we learned we weren't alone in the universe. We also learned that we had a lot of catching up to do. Or so we thought. She clicked to the first slide, showing the original alien shield design. This is what we started with. Impressive technology, certainly. But she clicked again, revealing the modified design. This is where we are now. The room erupted in murmurs as the council members leaned forward, their eyes widening at the data. The human modifications showed shield strength far beyond anything their species had achieved. By combining your quantum crystallization with our fusion technology, Linda explained, we've created a hybrid system that outperforms both original designs, and this is just the beginning. One of the council members stood up, his voice sharp. You cannot simply combine technologies this way. There are protocols, safety measures, thousands of years of tested methods. John stepped forward. Why not? If it works better, why wouldn't we try it? Because, the council member struggled to find words. Because that's not how things are done. Linda smiled gently. Maybe that's exactly why we're making such fast progress. We don't know how things are supposed to be done. We just look for ways to make them work better. In the back of the room, Kextel watched with growing fascination. These humans were breaking every rule in the book and succeeding. They took risks that would make most species freeze in terror. They combined technologies that everyone else kept separate. They let artificial intelligences work directly with sacred technologies. And it was working. After the presentation, Linda found Kextel waiting near her office. The Zentari scientist seemed troubled. Does it not frighten you? He asked. Working with forces you barely understand, making changes to technologies that took us eons to perfect. Linda considered the question carefully. Of course it frightens us, but that's never stopped humans before. Fear is just another problem to solve. Your species is very strange, Kextel said. You treat the impossible as merely difficult, and the difficult as a challenge to overcome. Is that a bad thing? Before Kextel could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. John came running down the hallway, his face pale. Dr. Morrison, the Voraks, they're calling for immediate restrictions on human technological development. They say we're a threat to galactic stability. Linda's expression hardened. Are we? Or are we just showing that there might be better ways to do things? Kextel's antenna drooped. The Voraks are conservative. They believe in maintaining the old ways. Your progress frightens them more than it frightens me. Will they try to stop us? Linda asked. They will try, Kextel replied. But, he paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. After watching your species these past months, I suspect they will find that more difficult than they imagine. Linda turned to John. Get everyone back to work. If they want to see us as a threat, then we'll show them just how threatening human engineering can be." As her team returned to their labs, Linda couldn't help but smile. The Voraks wanted to stop human progress. They clearly didn't understand what they were dealing with. Humanity had never advanced faster than when someone told them something was impossible. In his private quarters that night, Kextall made his final report of the day to the council. "The humans continue to surprise us. They use our technology in ways we never imagined. They improve things we thought perfect. They combine the impossible with the reckless and somehow make it work." He paused, then added, "And I believe trying to stop them will only make them more determined to succeed. Perhaps instead of fearing their progress, we should try to understand it." But in the council chamber, fear was already turning to action. The Voraks representatives were calling for immediate intervention. They couldn't see that they were about to make a serious mistake. They were about to try to stop the unstoppable force of human innovation. Captain Stephen Carter stood on the bridge of the Daedalus, Earth's newest starship. Through the main viewport, he watched as his crew tested the ship's enhanced weapons systems. Blue energy beams shot out into space, much more powerful than anything humans had built before. "Engineering, how are the new systems holding up?" he asked through the ship's comm system. "Better than expected, Captain," Michelle Thompson replied from the engine room. She had been promoted to lead engineer after her AI breakthroughs. "The AI is managing power distribution better than any human could. We're getting 40% more output than the original alien designs." In the council chamber, the Voraks war leader Krastin slammed his armored fist on the table. His species looked like a cross between an earth lizard and a tank, with natural armor plates covering their bodies. "Look at what they're doing," he roared, pointing to the holographic display of the Daedalus's weapons test. "They're turning research technology into weapons." First speaker Zinra tried to calm him down. "The humans claim these are defensive systems only." "Defensive?" Krastin laughed harshly. "Like their defensive AI systems, they're defensive shield improvements. They're preparing for war." Back on Earth, Linda Morrison was having a difficult meeting with Admiral Frank Cooper. The Admiral looked tired. He hadn't slept much since the Voraks started making threats. "How long until the new shield systems are ready?" he asked. Linda pulled up a holographic display. "We've installed them on the Daedalus and our 3 largest space stations. The rest of the fleet will take another month." "But Admiral," she paused, choosing her words carefully. "The Voraks are doing more than making threats. Our sensors have detected their ships near our outer research bases." The Admiral nodded grimly. "I know. They think they're being clever, staying just outside our official space. But thanks to your team's improvements to our sensor systems, we can see them clearly." At that moment, alarms started blaring throughout the building. Linda's tablet lit up with urgent messages. Her face went pale as she read them. "Admiral, we're detecting unauthorized access attempts at all our major research facilities. Someone's trying to hack our systems." But Michelle Thompson had been ready for this. Her AI systems had been watching, learning, and preparing. As the Vorak cyber attacks hit Earth's networks, they met something unexpected: artificial intelligence that could think and adapt faster than any organic hacker. "They're trying to access our research databases," Michelle reported from her command center. "But the AI is blocking them. It's actually turning their attacks back on them, mapping their own networks." In orbit, Captain Carter received the alert about the attack. He ordered the Daedalus to battle stations, watching as his crew moved with practiced efficiency. The ship's new systems hummed to life, shields powering up to levels that would have been impossible just months ago. Multiple Vorak ships detected dropping out of faster-than-light travel, his sensor officer reported. "They're staying outside weapons range, but their sensors are actively scanning us." Carter smiled grimly. "Let them scan. Let them see exactly what they're dealing with." The Vorak ships were impressive, huge, heavily armored vessels bristling with weapons. But Carter had faith in human engineering. Its ship might be smaller, but it was packed with innovations that the Voraks couldn't begin to understand. In her lab, Linda watched the situation unfold on multiple screens. Next to her, Hextall observed with growing concern. "The Voraks are making a mistake," the Zentari scientist said quietly. "They think they can intimidate humans into slowing down, into following the old ways." Linda shook her head. "They really don't understand us at all, do they? Humans don't slow down when threatened. We speed up." As if to prove her point, John Russell burst into the lab, excitement clear on his face despite the crisis. "Dr. Morrison, we just had a breakthrough with the propulsion systems. We found a way to combine the alien quantum drive with our fusion reactors. The speed calculations are off the charts. Even in the middle of a potential war, human innovation didn't stop. If anything, the pressure made the engineers work harder, think faster, reach further." In the council chamber, the debate had turned ugly. The Voraks delegation was demanding immediate action, while other species urged caution. Zinra tried to maintain order, but the fear in the chamber was too strong. "The humans must be stopped," Krastin shouted. "Today they improve our technology. Tomorrow they could conquer us with it. They show no signs of aggression," Zinra argued. "All their improvements have been defensive in nature." "Defense can quickly become offense," Krastin growled. "We must act now, before they grow too strong." But it was already too late for that. As the council argued, humans continued to work, continued to innovate, continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. On the Daedalus, Michelle's AI systems had mapped the entire Voraks battle fleet. "Their technology is powerful," she reported to Captain Carter, "but it's rigid, unchanging. They've been using the same systems for centuries, never thinking to improve them." "That's their weakness," Carter replied. "They think they've reached the peak of what's possible. We know better." Admiral Cooper called an emergency meeting with Earth's Defense Council. The room was tense as he displayed the latest intelligence. "The Voraks are preparing for military action," he said. "They think they can force us to stop our technological development. They believe their superior numbers and established technology will give them an easy victory." He smiled slightly. "They're wrong. Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We've always found a way to overcome them. This time, we have something extra on our side. We understand their technology better than they do." Linda's team worked through the night, pushing their hybrid technologies even further. Michelle's AI systems grew more sophisticated by the hour. The Daedalus's crew ran battle drills, pushing their new systems to the limit and beyond. In his private quarters, Hextall made his final report to the moderate members of the council. "The Voraks think they can intimidate humanity into submission. They are making a grave error. These humans, they don't see limits. They don't accept impossibilities. And now, thanks to the Voraks' threats, they're innovating faster than ever." He paused, then added, "The Voraks will attack soon. When they do, they will learn a harsh lesson about human determination, and they will discover that they have created exactly what they feared most, a humanity that is fully prepared for war." As the night wore on, ships on both sides prepared for conflict. But there was a crucial difference. The Voraks prepared with the same tactics and technology they had used for centuries. The humans prepared with systems that were evolving and improving by the hour. The first shots hadn't been fired yet, but in many ways, the Voraks had already lost. They just didn't know it yet. The attack came at dawn, Earth time. The Voraks fleet appeared near Saturn's orbit, their massive warships emerging from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. There were hundreds of them. In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Frank Cooper watched the alien ships appear on his display. He had been expecting this, but the size of the fleet still made his heart skip a beat. "All stations, battle positions," he ordered calmly. "This is not a drill." On the Daedalus, Captain Stephen Carter felt his ship hum to life as Michelle Thompson's AI systems activated all combat systems. The newly improved shield sparkled to life, creating a barrier stronger than anything the Voroks had ever encountered. Engineering. Status report, Carter called out. All systems at peak efficiency, Captain, Michelle responded. The AI is predicting Voroks' attack patterns based on their known tactics. We're ready. The Voroks didn't waste time with warnings or demands. Their lead ships opened fire, sending waves of energy weapons toward Earth's outer colonies. They expected to see the human settlements crumble under their superior firepower. Instead, their weapons splashed harmlessly against shields that shouldn't have existed. Dr. Linda Morrison's hybrid shield technology, powered by both fusion reactors and quantum crystals, held firm. In the council chamber, the observers watched in shock. Krastin, the Voroks' war leader, roared in frustration. Impossible. Their shields cannot be this strong. Kextel, standing quietly in the corner, allowed himself a small smile. You still don't understand humans, do you? They don't care what's supposed to be impossible. The Voroks' fleet pressed their attack, moving closer to Earth. But humanity had been preparing for this moment. From hidden positions around Saturn's moons, Earth's defense fleet emerged. The ships were smaller than the Voroks' vessels, but they carried technology that had evolved far beyond the original alien designs. All ships, engage as planned, Admiral Cooper ordered. Show them what human engineering can do. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The Voroks ships, powerful but predictable, found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to adapt with every passing minute. Michelle's AI systems learned and adjusted tactics faster than any organic commander could react. On the Daedalus, Captain Carter watched as his ship's enhanced weapons cut through Voroks' shields like they weren't even there. John Russell's latest innovation had found a weakness in the alien defenses that their creators had never considered. Multiple Voroks ships disabled. His tactical officer reported. Their shields are failing. They're retreating to regroup. But the Voroks weren't finished. Their commander, furious at being humiliated by what they considered a primitive species, ordered their secret weapon deployed. A massive ship, larger than any they'd shown before, moved to the front of their fleet. Energy readings off the scale. Michelle's voice crackled over the comm. They're powering up some kind of super weapon. The Voroks super weapon fired, sending a beam of pure energy toward Earth's fleet. It was powerful enough to destroy a small moon. But Linda Morrison had planned for something like this. Activate the reflector shields. She ordered from her command post on Earth. The new shield technology didn't just block the energy. It caught it, held it, and sent it right back at the Voroks fleet. The alien commanders had just enough time to realize their mistake before their own weapons' energy washed over them. When the light faded, a third of the Voroks fleet was drifting in space, their systems overloaded by their own weapon. How? Krastin demanded in the council chamber, watching his fleet's defeat. How could they have developed defenses against a weapon they'd never seen? Because that's what humans do, Kextel replied. They don't just solve problems. They anticipate them. They look at a piece of technology and see not just what it is, but what it could be. The battle continued, but its outcome was already clear. The Voroks fleet, despite their superior numbers, found themselves facing an enemy that seemed to grow stronger with every attack. Human ships moved in patterns their targeting systems couldn't predict, used weapons that shouldn't have existed, and shrugged off attacks that should have destroyed them. In her lab, Linda watched the battle data flowing in. Even in the middle of the fight, her team was making improvements, sending software updates to the fleet's systems, enhancing their capabilities in real time. Their mistake, she told John Russell as they worked, was thinking that our technology was fixed, like theirs. They don't understand that every minute we fight, we're learning, adapting, improving. The Voroks learned this lesson the hard way. Their rigid tactics, unchanged for centuries, became predictable to Michelle's AI systems. Their powerful but standardized weapons couldn't breach shields that evolved to counter them. Their own defenses, designed to stop known weapons, were useless against human innovations they'd never imagined. After 3 hours of combat, the remaining Vorok ships began to retreat. Their fleet, once proud and mighty, had been humbled by an enemy they'd dismissed as primitive. "Should we pursue?" Captain Carter asked Admiral Cooper. "Negative," Cooper replied. "Let them go. Let them tell the Council what happened here. Let them understand what it means to make humanity your enemy." As the Vorok's fleet disappeared into faster-than-light travel, the human ships began damage assessment. The losses had been minimal, thanks to Linda's shields and Michelle's AI systems. Most importantly, they had gathered massive amounts of data about Vorok's technology and tactics. "We'll have countermeasures for everything they showed us within a week," Linda promised the Admiral. "If they come back, they'll find us even better prepared." In the council chamber, the mood was somber. The Vorok's delegation sat in stunned silence, while other species whispered among themselves. Everything they thought they knew about humanity had been proven wrong. "Perhaps," Zinra suggested quietly, "we should reconsider our approach to Earth. These humans, they've surpassed our expectations in every way." Hextall stepped forward. "They will not stop advancing. They cannot. It's not in their nature. The question is, will we continue to fight that nature or learn to work with it?" But the Voroks weren't finished. Despite their defeat, they were already planning their next move. They didn't understand that they were making the same mistake again. They thought they could wear humans down, force them to submit through sustained pressure. They didn't realize that pressure only made humans more determined, more innovative, more dangerous. The first battle was over, but the war was just beginning, and humanity was just getting started. 2 weeks after the first battle, Admiral Frank Cooper faced the full Galactic Council. He stood tall in the massive chamber, surrounded by representatives from 100 alien species. The Vorok's delegation glared at him from their section, their armored scales still bearing scorch marks from the recent fight. "You've forced our hand," Creston growled. "We're mobilizing our entire fleet. Surrender your technology now, or face extinction." Cooper smiled slightly. "I don't think you understand what happened in our last battle. That wasn't our full strength. That was just the beginning." In orbit around Earth, the human fleet had transformed. Under Linda Morrison's guidance, every ship now carried technology that had evolved far beyond its alien origins. Michelle Thompson's AI systems had spread throughout the fleet, making each vessel smarter and more adaptable than ever. The Daedalus, now joined by 6 sister ships, patrolled Earth's space. Captain Stephen Carter watched his crew work with quiet pride. After the first battle, they had made hundreds of improvements to their systems. The ships were now twice as powerful as they had been just 2 weeks ago. Multiple faster-than-light signatures detected. His sensor officer called out, "It's the Vorok's fleet, and they've brought reinforcements." The space around Earth lit up as thousands of alien ships appeared. The Voroks had called in their allies, assembling the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen. Their ships filled the sky like angry stars, weapons charged and ready. "So be it," Cooper said in the council chamber, getting an urgent message on his tablet. "You've chosen war. Let me show you something." He pressed a button on his command pad. Across Earth's solar system, hidden installations activated. Hundreds of automated defense platforms, designed by Linda's team and controlled by Michelle's AI, emerged from their hiding places around every planet and major moon. "What is this?" Creston demanded. "You said humans only had a small fleet." "We do," Cooper replied calmly. "But we don't need a huge fleet. We just need smart engineering." The defense platforms powered up. Each one carried a miniature version of the hybrid shield technology that had protected Earth's colonies. But these weren't just defensive systems. John Russell's voice came over the command channel. "All platforms ready. Admiral, power systems are stable. The AI is fully integrated. Begin the operation," Cooper ordered. The platforms activated their main systems. Instead of attacking the Vorok's fleet directly, they created a massive energy web between them. The alien ships suddenly found themselves caught in a network of quantum fields and fusion-powered barriers. "What is this?" a Vorox commander demanded. "Our ships. We can't move." Linda's voice came over the comm, explaining to all who could hear. "We call it the web. It combines your quantum field technology with our understanding of gravity and spacetime. You're not trapped by energy fields. You're trapped by the fabric of space itself." In the council chamber, Kextol stepped forward. "The humans haven't just improved our technology," he announced. "They've understood it in ways we never did. They've seen possibilities we never imagined." The Vorox fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons were useless against the web. Energy blasts were absorbed and redirected. Physical weapons couldn't reach their targets through the distorted space, and with every attack they made, Michelle's AI systems learned and adapted, making the web even stronger. "This is your last chance," Cooper told the Vorox delegation. "Stand down. Accept that there are new ways of doing things. Work with us instead of against us." Krastin looked at the tactical displays in horror. His mighty fleet, the largest ever assembled, was being held helpless by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive just months ago. And worse, the humans weren't even destroying them. They were simply holding them in place, demonstrating their complete superiority. First Speaker Zinra rose from her seat. "I move for an immediate vote," she announced. "The humans have proven themselves not just worthy of council membership, but capable of teaching us new ways of thinking." "They're too dangerous," Krastin protested. "Look what they've done with our technology." "Yes," Kextol agreed. "Look what they've done. They've improved it, advanced it, found new possibilities we had ignored for centuries. And they did it not to conquer, but to defend themselves when threatened." The vote was quick. With the Vorox fleet hanging helpless in space and human engineering capabilities clearly demonstrated, the Council had little choice. But more than fear, there was a growing sense of excitement among many species. The humans had shown them that progress hadn't ended, that there were still new frontiers to explore. "Humanity is granted full council membership," Zinra announced. "Furthermore, we propose creating a new council position, Head of Technological Innovation. This position will be filled by a human representative." Linda Morrison, watching from Earth, smiled as she heard the news. Her team was already working on new improvements, new combinations of technologies, new possibilities that even they hadn't imagined a few months ago. In orbit, the Daedalus's crew celebrated quietly as Captain Carter gave the order to power down their combat systems. The web dissolved, freeing the Vorox fleet. To everyone's surprise, not a single alien ship had been destroyed. "You could have killed us all," Krastin said quietly to Cooper. "Why didn't you?" "Because that's not who we are," Cooper replied. "We don't want to destroy. We want to build, to improve, to make things better, even for those who try to stop us." The Vorox leader was silent for a long moment. Then, to everyone's shock, he laughed. Perhaps we have something to learn from humans after all." As the alien fleets departed and Earth celebrated its victory, Linda met with her team. "So," she asked them, "what should we improve next?" John Russell grinned. "Michelle's AI found some interesting possibilities in the Centauri power systems, if we combine them with our latest fusion designs." And so it began again. Because that was the true power of humanity, not the ability to win wars, but the constant, unstoppable drive to make things better. The galaxy had tried to force humans to slow down, to stay within established limits. Instead, they had learned what Earth's history had shown time and time again. Trying to stop human progress was like trying to stop time itself. It couldn't be done. And now, with the resources of 100 alien civilizations to study and improve, humanity's age of innovation was just beginning. In the council chamber, watching Earth's celebrations, Kextol made his final report. "We thought we were testing humanity," he said. "But they were teaching us that there is always room for improvement, always a new way to look at old problems, always another step forward to take." He paused, then added with a smile, "And this is just the beginning. I can't wait to see what they do next." Neither could the rest of the galaxy. The age of stagnation was over. The age of human engineering had begun.